Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. It's getting pretty dumpster fire over here these days. It's already super dark and it's not even 2 o'clock. Although you can still see me, so I guess it's fine. Okay, so today I want to talk about something that I spent a lot of time thinking about, but I don't know how well formulated this is, so we're gonna see how this goes. But yeah, I have not that many days left in Finland and I'm trying to clean my apartment, and this is something I really wanted to do for 2 months, but I couldn't successfully enough avoid people. I mean, it was already to the point where I wasn't really telling people I was back because I didn't want people to know I was back, but that was more so related to the PhD deadline, which I've honestly kind of crapped out with that since, because I've been I feel like I still have residual stress from that. That and my real job is very stressful right now, so it's a lot. The other thing that's going on is I did just successfully get granted a longer residence permit. Congratulations to me. Honestly, I'm pretty excited about that. That just happened yesterday, so it's going to come in the mail, of course, when I'm not here, I'm sure, and I'm going to have somebody pick it up. So shout out to my roommate for that. Okay, now, in the few interactions I've had with people, which, don't get me wrong, I love interacting with people, it's just not as high of a priority as my self-care regimen, which self-care is really a strong word. It's just right now my goals are more so financial rather than relationship and social. I have always felt like if I focus on my own stuff and kind of fill in the rest with relationships, I have a lot more success than when I make relationships the focus. As I said to my one friend, it needs to be a side plot rather than the main show. My hair is looking very weird today. Okay, whatever. And yeah, so there's that. But anyway, I went to lunch with a couple of my friends and we started talking about, let's say, women on the internet. Okay, I think we can infer what that means. And how sometimes random men will just give them a bunch of money hoping that they will pay attention to them or get noticed by them, kind of thing. But oftentimes it doesn't really necessarily happen. And actually, one of the things that my friend said, so this is my friend who, I hope he doesn't watch my channel because he'll know I'm talking about him, but just for some background, he's a very intense person, tries to play it cool, even though I can see secretly that's not what's going on internally, but that's fine. But he has very intense energy, which I'm going to be honest can make me tired sometimes. He will always say at least one very insightful thing every time I have a conversation with him that I will remember for the rest of my life. So it's definitely worth the intensity. Although right now I feel like my level for intensity is just really low, and I'm pretty happy being alone. To get all the crap done I need to get done, because there's a lot of it right now. Okay. So anyway, this friend was explaining that, a lot of people are sad and lonely and creepy behind the screen of the internet, whatever, on the internet behind a screen, that kind of situation. And trolling the internet, just messing with people on there. And he's the people that you see outside the house are normal people. And because there are some people who don't even really leave the house. And I started thinking about it, I was no, he's totally right. And I started thinking about my 2 brothers, and I was no, I totally see this. Although the one brother has a girlfriend, so good for him, because that kind of does make you leave the house. But so I'm gonna have a brief interlude here to encourage you that if you are feeling like one of these people, just go out into the real world and meet people. And you don't have to be creepy and desperate about it. Just go and talk to people. That's what I do. I just like talking to people. And it's not there always has to be this secret ulterior motive of oh, I need to get with this person. Because I realize most of the time I don't like most people anyway, on that level. I do like people enough to talk to them, but being stuck with somebody forever is a different situation. But yeah, just go talk to people. I don't know. If you're feeling sad and lonely, just literally leave the house. I don't care what you do. Go to the grocery store and have a random interaction with somebody. Yesterday when I was sitting at Migri, I was late for my appointment. Thank God they waived that fee, man. That would have sucked. And shame on me for being late because when I came back from Finland, I was pretty good at being early for everything. And then the longer I stayed in the US, that skill just disappeared and it has not returned. So that sucked. But I ended up like talking to this random lady there because she spoke Spanish but didn't speak anything else. So like I had a conversation with her in Spanish for a bit, even though I realized all these vocabulary words about like education and study and research and scholarships. Like I didn't have any of that, so I had to translate some of it. And I was like, I've definitely never known this word because I actually learned Spanish before I even started college. And then I kind of just stopped learning it. So didn't learn those words. But I talked to her for a bit, and then in the end she like asked for my phone number, and I was like, okay. I mean, she hasn't contacted me. Maybe she'll forget, but whatever. If she wants to contact me, cool. I was like, I should practice my Spanish anyway. But like, I'm just saying, like, you can just like have like stupid random interactions with that, like that. Part of it is I also do like randomly talk to people, but also if I feel like I can be helpful. So like in that situation, I was like offering kind of to translate for the Finnish woman who was asking her if she had a ride back to where she lived. And she basically told me, yeah, but she has to wait, which I like relayed to the Finnish woman. I've been in a lot of situations where I've done that at like airports with like Russian people who can't speak English. One time at the mall in the US with Spanish people who can't speak English. So whatever, like just look for opportunities maybe to like help people while you're out in public, and then you can like interact with people that way. And then it's like the whole being a good Samaritan thing, and then you'll like feel better about yourself. So whatever. Okay. Anyway, that was my long interlude to try and be encouraging about like social interactions don't just have to be targeted at like one specific thing. They can be targeted at just like having an interaction with somebody, and it can be like in any way. Okay. So there's that. And yeah, because I want, like, I know a lot of people who sit here and watch my videos are obviously spending a lot of time at home, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with spending time at home, but like, if you feel like you need to get out of the house to go be social, like, go do that. Like, think about what your needs are and go meet those needs. Okay. So the next thing, I also was actually thinking, I feel like sometimes when you try too hard to like go find somebody, it usually doesn't work. So just stop trying. No, I don't know. Stop making it the focus of your life. I don't know. I'm thinking about this. I'm like, yeah, kind of makes sense. Cause I don't know, like, I guess the feeling I'm sort of like thinking about when I like talk about this is like, and like, don't get me wrong, there's frustration, and because I know who watches this is predominantly male, but like there's frustration at this point because of the way technology is and the way the world has evolved, that people are like, frustrated with the dating scene in general, and very like, we can't reach all the same milestones our parents did. We live in a different generation, and like you kind of feel behind chronically, and then with social media you're comparing yourself. So it's really packed thing, and let's stop looking for people to blame and systems to blame, and just accept that it's the new situation, and that just got to adjust and make the most out of it. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, but anyway, point of this was tangential, as usual, is that so he started talking about like influencers, right? I'm sure he like somewhat knows that, like, I hate to be like I'm an influencer, but whatever this is that I do here, where people like to engage with my content, which like I appreciate, like really, like words cannot express how much I appreciate this. Even though it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like a lot of work, but it's work. But he was explaining like people think that like an influencer is like their friend, which like the thing people like about influencers is they're like relatable, right? It's not the same as being a celebrity. Like it's not. You're like a real person kind of thing. And what you talk about is supposed to be relatable to your audience. So he's like, people will watch influencers and think that like they're their best friends because they know everything about them. But then when they go to meet them in real life, they're kind of a jerk. And he's like, this is why you should never meet your heroes. And I actually like never thought about that expression. And the only time I had heard that expression was in like this one song. And assuming there's no monetization cap around this, I'll try to stick it in here. Actually, I'm just going to link it below. People are always asking me what music I listen to, and I really hate telling people because I feel like the music I listen to is kind of weird. And I mean, it's really not. It's just like adult alternative indie. It's like pretty narrow, to be honest. And then like every kind of foreign language I've been exposed to, pop, but that's different. Okay, so yeah, it's like people can be jerks, and it's sort of like, especially when you start getting bigger online, you have to start outsourcing because you don't have enough time to like respond to everybody, and then you have to like get a team together. And these people who are like these normal people who try to go meet these influencer people, it becomes very like it's not really safe for the influencer. Like, they have to be sort of protected from that situation because of, I guess, the like sheer amount of people you kind of have like coming after you is not the right way I want to bring this across, but you know, people you have interest in like reaching out to and connecting with you, like you know, I think people in some instances can become kind of like obsessive and to a point where it's like not healthy, and it's almost, hate to use the word delusional, but like, you know, there's not really a real relationship there, right? It's like this relationship you have fantasized in your head because it's not really that person. And so what I'm trying to get at here is like, while what I present on this channel is a very polished version of my thoughts, it is not like at my core who I really am as a person, right? Like I am, and this is the whole influencers being relatable thing, but like I am still a person. I still have problems. I still have, you know, relationship challenges in a lot of aspects. I have family problems. I have money challenges. I have, you know, unfulfilled dreams that I hope will come true someday. Like, everybody has this. And, you know, some people I talk to really don't like me. They think I'm self-centered. They think, what else do people say about me? Sometimes I'm like too assertive or something, and I like don't have enough consideration for other people. I'm going to blame this on the autism, to be honest, because sometimes you just like miss things. But, yeah, so like, I get that kind of stuff, and that's hard. And like, again, it's really nice that people who watch this channel and engage with this channel like me, and that's why they do it, right? And they're like interested in what I have to say. But like, what I'm trying to get at is like keeping in mind, like, I'm still a person, right? I'm still a real person with like my own issues. And I think in some ways it makes sense that like it could be disappointing to meet me, or even like, you know, dangerous in certain cases for me, because this is sort of something that is really like hard for me at this point. Is like, I do have a lot of people contacting me, right? And it's like, while I would love to be able to engage with and be nice to every single person who contacts me, it's like I don't have the bandwidth for that in so many ways I can't even explain. It's like time. Time is money. I have actual work to do. Emotionally, like, it's pretty overwhelming when a random person comes to you on the internet and is like interested in a relationship with you, and you're like, I don't know you and I didn't choose you. Because this is a lot of, you know, part of what I get. So that's why I like super appreciate when people are actually like trying to be very helpful, or they have an idea for my channel, or they have something they want me to talk about. Like, this is the stuff that, you know, maybe I feel like poses less of a threat, but like, yes, people trying to meet me to like get with me, it's like, that's very, feels dangerous and like unnerving. I don't even have another way to express that. And the reality is, like, I don't talk about my relationship status on this channel. I don't, you know, like, I don't tell on here whether I have a boyfriend or don't have a boyfriend. And as far as I'm concerned, that's like my own business, because that's not why I make this channel. I've talked about that so many times. And I get that that's like the appeal, because, you know, as my friend is saying, sad, lonely men on the internet. But this is why I really want to like encourage people to really like get out there and just go meet people. Not even like that, but just like, don't be sad and lonely. Go out there and like make friends. Like, because if you have friends, you won't feel sad and lonely either. And just like be open. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I also accept that like people I interact with are not perfect. And that's how it is. So what is my whole point of this? It's just that like, keeping in mind I'm still a person, and although I may be your hero, in the end you don't know how much of a disappointment I could be. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I just think about like the number of like failed relationships I've had, but I don't even mean that in like a romantic way. I mean that in like a friendship way. I mean that in like a, you know, difficulties I've had with like relationships in my family. Like, you know, so it's like, relationship is a two-way street, and me talking on this channel is a very one-way street. Like, the comments and the emails and all that stuff make it kind of two-way, but at the end of the day, it's still like a two-way street kind of thing. I mean, a one-way. At the end of the day, this channel is a one-way street, but a relationship is a two-way street. So yes, it could be disappointing. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. And so that's the whole point behind the never meet your heroes. And like I said, I really spent a long time thinking about this and just like how it's like, people don't even know. Or it's like, I think about how many people, okay, granted, this is a whole psychology rant and I'm not going to get into that right now. I could later in another video, but like the whole, I meet people, they idealize me, they're like, you're so great, blah, blah, blah. And then over time, we're friends. All right, so actually the brief psychology rundown of this is sometimes you don't understand that like I'm one person and you're another person. You think we're like this. No, we're not. We're like this. And then what happens is I do something that you don't agree with and it upsets you. So we can't stay like this in your mind. It becomes more like that, but then you have to push the person really far away because it's too painful to let them continue to be in your life when they can't be in your life like this because you will not accept that. So that's kind of the conclusion I've arrived at, and it's sort of the whole, you don't lose people, you return people. And I get to a point where I realize none of those relationships would have been sustainable. So that's why I've personally been working very hard on having like strict, firm boundaries around people, because I talked about this already. Boundaries are like a loving thing. Okay, they're not meant to be like harmful. It's just that no relationship like this is sustainable. And if it is, it's going to be very toxic and detrimental to one or both people's mental health. Why do I know so much about this? Because I just hit the chair next to me. Okay. Feel very passionate about this because I had enough of these relationships in Finland, and then I kind of started connecting them and noticing them in my own family, because when I got to Finland, I realized, well, after I went through these things in Finland, I realized I wasn't looking for friends, I was looking for my family because they're not here. And I realized all these unhealthy dynamics that exist in my family, and that's fine, but it's my responsibility as an individual to like set firmer boundaries around how I interact with my family, because I'm an adult and I now have control over what those relationships look like. You don't when you're a kid, and that sucks. But the good news is at some point you grow up, and that's how it goes. So that's everything. So I want to keep being a hero for people, but I also want people to keep in mind that I am only human at the end of the day. All right, so that's everything that I have for today. I tried to upload yesterday, and it was so late in the day, and I was so tired. It just did not go well, so maybe I'll save that video for later and just do this one today, because this was really the one I wanted to post after the weekend. And I think I have like 2 more days, and I have so much laundry and cleaning. I feel like I'm just eternally doing laundry. That's like literally what my life feels like here. Maybe because in Europe you don't have dryers, and then in the US you do, and it really changes things. Not gonna lie. Been thinking about whether I should just get a dryer. Would make my life great. I'm gonna think about it. I wonder how much they are. Okay. So that's everything. Hopefully I'll record tomorrow. Until next time. Bye.